Hello, and today we have a guest, Morten, founder of Media Startup Kaupr, #1 crypto publisher in Norway. Morten Myrstad, journalist who is building a Nordic media startup in Web3. His interest is the future of finance, internet, and media. His focus: news, insights, trends, and use cases. Welcome, Morten.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's start with a simple question. What is Metaverse and Web3?
I think we should start by introducing Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, because Web 1 is the old internet.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, that was actually the second question that I want to talk about. So how it go from the Web 1, Web 2, because most of the people don't know what is Web 3. So
no, but people are used to be able to create content and to interact. And in the beginning, we did that with blog posts and whatever, and that was Web 1. And then in the Web 2 phase, we had interactive media and we had social media, but it had grown to be controlled by the large companies like Facebook and Google and Spotify. And therefore, we have Web 3 sort of as a revolution or as an answer to that, where crypto and the blockchain is possibly a way to be more free.
What about Web 4?
Someone has started to do that, but it hasn't gained any traction. I think even the old ex-guy, Jack, he talked about Web 5, but I don't think anybody listened that much to it. And the metaverse, if you're saying that, I would say that is part of Web 3, but also an expansion of Web 3, because then you are moving into the internet and can be part of the internet.
What is your global mission in crypto, and how do you see your local mission in the Norwegian market?
I don't have a crypto vision. I have a journalistic mission. I want people to know about what things that are happening in business, in the society, in their lives. And what is happening right now is that we have a lot of emerging technologies that are influencing our lives and will also influence our future. That is the blockchain, it's crypto, but it's also AI. It's also IoT or Internet of Things. It's also then Metaverse. It's also XR. So there's a lot of technologies that right now are sort of interacting and converging together. So there's an exciting time, but a lot of people don't understand what is happening. They just see things on the mobile. And my mission is to be a part of the information age.
Most developed countries are less into crypto, if we compare it to in other countries, to the third world countries, we would say.
No, I don't totally understand the question. In Norway,
I mean that Norway is like developed countries, like in Scandinavia, like Norway, Sweden, and the United States, and in comparison to other countries, in crypto they are more into crypto because they can make more money in crypto. But for example, in Norway, the people are not into crypto market. They are not least to buy crypto because they are more confident in buying, for example, shares or phones or something else, and it's much more risky to be in the crypto world.
Of course, there are two different stories here, I would think, because in Norway there is about 400,000 people that have invested in crypto. In all the Nordics, in total, there are about 1.6 people, and it's increasing every year. It will be probably even more in 5 or 10 years. But you always have the early movers. You had the early movers also when the internet came. A lot of people didn't understand what the hell is happening here. And someone even said that was a fact, that it wouldn't happen, but it did happen. And I think the same will happen with the blockchain and crypto. But a lot of the things that are happening is happening behind the scene. It's not that visible like AI. The ChatGPT, you could play with it immediately, and you understand how a prompt worked. But the blockchain is much more in the back end as a part of the infrastructure. But it is moving into the front end these days, I would think. If you compare it to other countries, like in Africa, there's a lot of African and Latin America companies that are investing a lot in Bitcoin, for instance, because it gives them another type of freedom. They don't trust the government. They don't trust their currencies. So they try to then get Bitcoin as an alternative to their own currencies. And it's sort of the same that happened with mobile phones. In Africa, people, they didn't go on the PC route. They jumped directly to mobile. So the banks in Africa, they are mobile. They are not on the PC.
How do you see the future of Norwegian crypto adoption?
I think it depends on what kind of people and users you are talking about, because you have the retail investors, as you could call them. I said there was about 400,000. That it's about 9 or 10% of the people. But among the young people, and especially among male young people under 30, the percentage is much, much higher. So when people are growing up, getting older, and maybe even get a heritage from the elderly, there will be even more money moving into crypto. But it still has some hurdles. There has been hard to understand a wallet. It has been hard to get on board. But there is also a lot of improvements on this area right now. You can now have on-ramp, on and off-ramp, more or less like VIPs or other types of money type of apps. When it comes to banks and when it comes to businesses and when it comes to the public authorities, that's another topic.
So you actually want to say that more young people are more interested into crypto, and we would say the generation that after 50 or 60, or they are more conservative about the investments, about the money.
Sure, and if you go to a lunch for people that are working in the wealth management industry, almost everybody is above 60. So there are different clusters of people, different communities. And of course, they have to also go through a learning curve. And maybe they don't want to risk their money when they are in the last 10 or 20 years of their life. I don't know. But things are happening. And right now, since maybe 1.5 years ago, you have the launch of the ETFs in the States about 1 year ago. And it has opened a lot of opportunities. And of course, in the States, the pension system is quite different than in Norway or in the Scandinavians. So people have to earn their own money. They have to find a way to build their pension funds. So they are now moving into crypto, maybe indirectly through ETFs or other types of vehicles. And maybe also they will start investing more directly, for instance, in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think because there are some apps that you can directly buy the crypto already. But I think it's gonna be as well in, for example, when you have a mobile app like DNB or Sparebanken, and you can just buy crypto as easy as you can buy fonts or something, aktier, yeah.
Just a couple of days, Lunar Bank, which is sort of a challenger bank, they have launched crypto today, available in their mobile bank, mobile app.
Oh, it's a bank in Norway that already you can buy.
Lunar Bank is a Danish bank, and they have gone into Denmark, Sweden, and Finland before, I think, and now they also are in Norway. So that's the first bank that offering trade on crypto in the savings app or in the bank app. And I also interviewed Torbjørn Bø from K33, one of the leading crypto exchanges, the other day. And he said that they are right now negotiating with banks. So I think when you have the clarification that you have now, perhaps in the States, where people are not, or the authorities are not going after the companies for trying to be in innovation, that will clear the air. And also in Europe, we have the MiCA regulation, which has also opened the doors for many things. So I think that a lot of the banks will also start to experiment, but maybe in the beginning with the safe things like custody, for instance, like taking care of your crypto on behalf of a business or on behalf of a person. But things are moving.
Let's talk about the AI agents. AI agents in crypto. Where did all begin?
I think you will have to start with AI, and I think you also have to start with Web2, because AI with ChatGPT is more or less some more than 2 years old. You have a lot of other platforms. They all are using generated AI to help people in creating images, video, but also to do research and things like that. But you always have to prompt as an individual. You always have to interact with the bot. But with the agency, you can have more interaction, and you can even instruct the agent to do tasks on behalf of you. So maybe you could say that, okay, tomorrow I want to find out what will be the influence of this and this stock if the oil price goes up and the interest goes down or whatever. And if something is happening, I will have a warning. And this is moving in different levels, because the first one is sort of naive or easy. But after some time, you can also have agents that are taking more and more control of your tasks and your goals. So you could say that you are now authorized to trade on behalf of me, but within 1,000 kroner per day, for instance. Then you are going even further in that way. And so AI agency is not a new word. It has been there for about a year or something. And also yesterday, OpenAI launched their first AI agent on their platform. But that is what I would call a Web2 agent. Why? Because there's no crypto involved. There's no ownership involved. So the really new thing that is happening now is that AI and Web3 is converging. That is really, really exciting.
Donald Trump just said, I think in this week or in these 2 weeks, that gonna be investing into the AI.
Yeah, but in my view, you have to always ask yourself the question: which Trump is talking? Is it the personal Trump, or is it the President Trump, or is it the TV star Trump talking? And of course, again, the last days also both in the US but also in Davos, where you have the large conference for he has had a speech, and he has said that he wants to make the US the leading economy in AI and crypto. But remember that 3 or 4 years ago, he hated Bitcoin. He hated crypto. But he had came in love with it also because the crypto bros, a lot of them are on his team and are supporting him politically. So there's sort of both ways there. But again, that is his political role, and I support a lot of the things that is happening now. That there's a new head of the U.S. stock exchange, that or financial authorities, SEC. There is also some task force that will then try to find some new regulations. But at the same time, one day before he was one day before he was inaugurated as president, he launched a shitcoin, or a meme coin, which is called, and it went into the roof. But a meme coin has no value. It's not the same as an AI agent. An AI agent has intelligence, has some functionality, has some utility. A meme coin doesn't. It's sort of a branded way of expressing yourself, and maybe your fans are following you, and of course retail investors are following because they invest in him, in his reputation, and also trying to earn a buck.
But there was also some of type of the gossip that with the cryptocurrency they can close the debt that the United States have right now.
Again, another story, because the question here is that, of course, the U.S. economy has a large debt. And what then some has suggested is that you should add the cryptocurrencies on the balance so that it could be part of the ownership of the nation, sort of, and also then to protect the nation against inflation. And that makes sense. But a lot of the crypto people also love this to happen because it will create. You have to buy this cryptocurrency from somewhere, and then the prices will go up. So far, he haven't said anything about how they will build this fund. They have even used some words which make you think that okay, the crypto that they have blocked because of some criminal acts, that's going into this reserve, and that's totally okay. But when they are starting buying and going into the market, that will be a different type of game. I think it's totally. I really don't understand why the Democrats didn't build trust into the crypto and Bitcoin world. It is innovation. It is a decentralized economy supporting people being able to make their own decisions. It is transparent. There's a lot of democratic values into the blockchain space. There was a really hit in their own leg when they let this Gensler being rambling for 2 or 3 years.
And if we compare Norway with this, what about the Norway? Are they open for the innovations, digitalization, and for the cryptocurrency in the financial offices? And
if you are talking on the political parties, they are afraid to say anything about it. So they will be some of the people that come last. I know that some politicians are positive, but the main issue that has been debated in Norway is the mining issue, where some politicians also want to forbid the mining of Bitcoin. So the other types of they haven't even engaged in the discussion about whether Norway should have a digital central bank coin. And regarding the state of the exchanges and things like that, they haven't engaged in the discussion. The good thing about Norway is that the authorities are really quite ahead, because the tax authorities, they got rules and already from 2012 and 2013. So people know that, okay, if I earn some money and invest in Bitcoin crypto, I have to report it on my tax deduction. I can maybe avoid it if I don't, but there's a risk, and the tax authorities are open about it. The Norwegian Central Bank, they are discussing this digital central currencies. They are saying that they haven't decided, but still they have a very open conversation with the whole society. I've been to several hackathons together with Dejen and Blue suits from the financial community, together discussing what will be smart or not smart to do.
and still there is no certain decision about this.
No, regarding the central bank digital currencies, they are in what is called phase 5. So before Christmas this year, in 2025, they are supposed to give their recommendation to the politicians. So first at that time, the politicians will have to make a stand.
Can you tell us about the current trends in the AI agent space within crypto, and how would you characterize this market?
Well, it has more or less exploded the last half year, I would say, and even I wasn't aware of it before, maybe a couple of months before Christmas last year, and it's a very innovative space, because there are AI people moving into the crypto space. There are cryptos people or blockchain people trying to understand how AI can be used. And I maybe you remember in November 2022 when we had ChatGPT, a lot of people moved out of the Web3 space and moved into AI. And also at that time there was a crypto winter. But now a lot of them are coming back, and they can see that there's a merge going on. And the really difference, we talked about Web2 and AI some minutes ago, and the really difference between AI in Web3 and Web2 is that you have access to a payment rail. You have direct access, more or less, to people's and businesses' wallet. So when you launch a token, launch an agent, you can say that this is the utility, this is what it can do, but you can also then decide that it should be paid directly through the blockchain. So and the next step is when these agents are starting to trade or to talk or to communicate with each other. And that is also already happening on X and Twitter, because they are doing sourcing, for instance. I am an agent wanting to have a partnership with a company that has this and this, or an agent that has this and this competence. And suddenly they have created a new partnership, cooperation. But you have to also split the segment, sort of, and there are a lot of, not a lot, but maybe 10 or 15 that are focused on infrastructure and protocols. They are the best to then launch agents. So you can go on board on them, more or less like a no-code solution, and say that I want to launch my own agent with this and this utility, with this and this payment and structure, for instance. But a lot of these launchers, they have thousands of agents. They are building more and more intelligence into their solutions. So, for instance, they can now close the gap between the different blockchains. There are agents now talking to different blockchains and totally making abstractions of the difficulty between the blockchains. So that's also a thing happening. But in addition to that, you also have some use cases. Gaming is a huge part. And you can also imagine that you can now put AI agents within a game. They can take different roles. They can be gamers. They can be your partner. They can be another type of person. So that is huge. And gaming have a lot of promise regarding blockchain and crypto for long, but hasn't moved the needle that much. But now I think that will happen. The second area is DeFi, or what is now called DeFi. That is the decentralized AI way of doing financial transactions between different parties on the blockchain. It can be lending, it can be investing, it can be options or whatever. So DeFi is really, really growing fast.
We have noticed a negative trend in the outflow of funds from AI agents currently trading on the Solana market, as liquidity seems to have shifted to the Melanie coin and Trump meme coin.
You have to see this over at least maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months. And the AI agents was not known as a category in maybe July or August last year. So it exploded before Christmas. So if you were a part of that market at that time, it went 10 times and 100 times for a lot of coins. But still, the market on AI agents is not more worth than $15 billion. And the meme coins that has no value is valued at $120 billion US dollars, 10 times as much. So what has happened in the last weeks, before and during and after the inauguration of President Trump, is that he launched a token for his meme token or for Trump. And then in parallel, or 2 days after, Melanie also launched her token. But her token went more or less bust after a couple of days. But the interest for the Trump coin has been really, really huge and has sucked liquidity in a short time frame from the AI agent coins, but also from other types of cryptocurrencies. But it has also picked up a lot of funds going into the crypto space, especially through Solana. I think I saw that 50% of the people at Solana that had invested in Trump was new users going on board on the crypto. So back to the AI agent situation, only $15 billion in a space where AI are being invested in magnificent numbers in all of the world. And if this is a merger between AI and the blockchain, it will grow. So what happens with the Melanie or with Trump is just cruising on the water.
And do you have your friends here in Norway who bought Trump meme coin, or some friends, close friends, who bought as well, and have a time to jump into the train and buy the Trump coin with a low?
No, not personal friends. And as I understand, sometimes I'm staying up late night to get the news from the States. Sometimes I woke up early to get the news from Asia. And as I remember that this coin was launched at the same time as the crypto people were having a party in New York or Washington.
Oh, really?
And all of them, they were not aware of this coin. So they were celebrating the win of the Trump, but on the side, he had launched, or maybe his son, I don't know, had launched this coin. It went into the roof. But it is money-wise, or if you think about it, for instance, like a fund, we talked about people investing in stocks and whatever. If you are investing in a stock, you are trying to find out what is the cash flow, what is the business idea, what is the return of investment. Is it something that you can take and feel? Is it on the balance sheet? A meme coin is hot air.
Nothing. Yeah, it's very risky.
But it is a branded thing, you could say. So maybe it has some kind of value as an expression. But I would much more invest in Prince coin than in the Trump coin, if that was available.
Do you think liquidity will return to the AI agent sectors in crypto?
It has already, but it is still volatile, so it's different from day to day. And we were talking about the launchers. There are several launchers that are increasingly building new features and new platforms. For instance, Virtuals, which is a very known one on the base platform for Coinbase, they are also now including a platform on Solana. So they are going both ways. And there has been another one where they have a really high community building features in games or in play. And they are creating AI agents and taking with them more or less very more than 1 million people of users, and giving them access to use an AI agent within their game or their community. So we have, I've been saying it's early days.
And what do you think if for example, I decide to buy a Trump meme coin, which platform is better to use to buy it? Something that is on a Solana, or it doesn't matter?
Well, I'm not evaluating different platforms. I'm just covering the news which is happening, and of course there was it is on the Solana, but there were also some. I don't remember the names of them, but when they launched the token, it was launched not on the regular known platforms like Binance or Coinbase or whatever, or Phantom. It was launched on some new vehicles.
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah, because you cannot find them on right now. You can
today
find, but you cannot buy it. I think you can buy it from the Coinbase wallet or something. Or but
No, today you can buy it more or less from 10 or 15 exchanges, even the Norwegian NBX. has offered it.
By the way, let's start about the Norwegian's crypto exchange markets. What are the main crypto exchange markets here in Norway?
Well, there's no doubt that the largest one is Firi, which has really built a good service and a good reputation. They also had to downsize in the crypto winter, but they survived and they have picked up some more investment money, and so they have more than 250,000 clients, customers.
250,000.
Yeah, in Norway and Sweden, Norway and Denmark, and they will also move into Sweden. And they have for instance, a very easy onboarding. You can use VIPs to get on board. And they have used a lot of energy on customer service to make it easy for the regular Norwegian, if you could call it that. So I would say that Firi is the known retail exchange in Norway. You have then 3 other ones. You have K33, which is not really an exchange, it's a broker. And it's led by Torbjørn Bull Jensen, which is also a good speaker and a good talker. And they are on the stock exchange even in Sweden. But they are focusing on larger clients. Like I think you more or less would have to have 100,000 kroner on your account to make any type of meaning.
But Fury, for example, like a person, I can go with a Fury, but if I'm a company, it's better go with a K33.
Not necessarily. I heard that Tuk Wang, which is the CEO of Firi, he said that there are more than 1,000 companies that are customers in Firi.
As well.
Yeah. So, but maybe smaller companies, perhaps.
Okay,
so if you will make a deal and negotiate, I would think that the K33 is more the pro type of business, and they are also moving into cooperation with the regular TradFi banks and also with Fintech. The third crypto exchange is NBX. They are rather small, but they have broadened their offerings very much also into tokenization of solar parks. They have staking of Cardano and different things like that. They also have a license to be a money bank or an e-money service provider, but they have a goal to be a money bank, e-money bank, crypto bank. And so they their goal is to be a partner in the traditional finance world. And then you have the fourth one, which is called Bare Bitcoin. That means only Bitcoin. And they are created by a couple of founders which loves Bitcoin. And all the people that loves Bitcoin and not altcoins or shitcoins, which they will call it, a lot of them go trading on Bare Bitcoin.
And what do you think, for example, if DNB starts own exchange market, can they be more like priority exchange than Firi, for example? Because if the DNB starts their own,
I don't think they will do that because, of course,
I'm just thinking like if someone started like as I told one of the bank or financial office, they can start because they have a much more big client and there is a more like tillit, yes, and
yes, they have a trust, but they have to earn the trust and they have to keep the trust. And I think it was a half year ago I talked to some people at a party from wealth management. Which is maybe even more conservative than the regular banks. And they said, of course, we are watching this area. But think about it. If you went out and went into a PR story and said that you would launch a crypto fund or whatever, and you timed it wrong, then that would be your brand, right? So now when things are moving in the States, in Europe with Mika, also the banks will start moving. And in the interview that I referred to with Torbjørn, he says that they are now also in negotiations. And people are thinking that maybe it will be the DNB that will come first. Maybe it will be Sparebanken. It will not be Nordea because they are negative. It can also be a smaller challenger bank. But now, as Lunar has gone on board, the door is open. But I don't think that DNB will have their own trading business or exchange. I think they will go into a
The
corporation.
thing that the question why I'm asking you, because can this crypto exchange, can they compete with these big exchanges that are on the market in Norway?
They can go into the same bed.
So you never know, yeah. So
Yeah, they can cooperate. Why should they compete? They have a business ongoing.
for example, or DNB can buy Fury, for example, yeah, or maybe someone Key 33. So
Of course, something like that can happen in a structural way, and I think that you also have to look outside of Norway and look at things in a more Nordic or a Northern European way. For instance, I'm following. I think it was a couple of days ago that there was a Finnish news site that made a ranking of the 11 crypto exchanges in Finland, and the 3 Finnish one was on the top. This was sort of a neutral case-by-case way of ranking them. And one of the Finnish have bought a Swedish crypto exchange for 2 or 3 months ago. So there will be consolidation. Of course, there will be.
what is number one crypto exchange in the Scandinavia, for your personal opinion or general opinion?
In volume and
Or let's say in volume.
in volume and in trade, it's still Firi. You have
So Firi is number one in
you
whole
also
Scandinavia.
have Safello in Sweden, which is also rather large. They have, I think, about 350,000 clients, but they are not as active as the one in Firi. But they have a great leadership as some of the other ones as well, and they are also then planning to move outside of Sweden. So quite soon we will meet. Firi will meet Safello in Norway, and Safello will meet Firi in Sweden.
What are other main crypto trends are expected in future?
If you come outside of the space, you think it is crypto or it's fiat, and it's scam. It's a problematic area. But if you're a part of the community and a part of the industry, you can understand that there are a lot of different trends happening. So one major trend is that the institutions are going into crypto with the ETFs last year. The second major trend is the tokenization of assets. And when you tokenization of real world assets is called, and then you think it's maybe only gold or silver or real estate, and it is that as well. But it means also that you can tokenize stocks and also lending papers.
So like we also can tokenize real estate, for example, as well.
Yep, you can.
Or do you think that everything will be tokenized here in Norway as well?
More or less, and that is not because of the crypto in itself, but it is also because the infrastructure in banks in all the Nordics, maybe in all, even in the Europe and the States, it maybe is built 40 or 50 years ago.
And what's need to be done to be prepared for this tokenization? So to be first in a row.
You have to have, of course, awareness and understanding of the market. You have to have technical competence, but you also have to have knowledge about the regulation. You have to build up trust. You have to build up governance. But I think that this market will more or less be a mirror of the TradFi world that we know. We will have people that are launching tokens. We have people that are trading. We have people that are advising. We have marketplaces. So more or less the same type of industry that we already know from the old finance industry.
I also heard about this. That's much if you tokenize your real estate. There are some conspiracy theories about that. It's much more easy to steal your or hack your, for example, your real estate or something that now it belongs to you, and then if it is tokenized, it can be hacked, and then it's not yours anymore.
of course, you have the same risk on all kinds of things that is happening when you are in the blockchain. So you have, but that is independent of what type of digital asset that you are tokenizing. So whether it's a crypto or a stable coin that is linked to a US dollar or, for that matter, euro, you have to make sure that they have that dollar on the bank so that the stablecoin is not empty air. The same you have to do if the underlying asset is real estate or whatever it is. You have to do your due diligence.
Could you tell us about your event, Unleashed by Kaupr, which is you hosted during Oslo Innovation Week in 2023? And what goals did you achieve with it?
Well, it's sometimes going down. The time is moving fast. It was sort of a experiment because we have started a new site in Kaupr, and we thought that there should be some type of meeting place or place where people can hear about in that time frame about the future of the internet. So we gathered 18 speakers and we gathered about 250 people, split 50-50 between in-person attendance at Oslo Media House and 50% online. And we haven't on a scientific way of understanding it, but I believe that the people that were there were Web3 founders, business people, developers, designers, people that are people that could even start a business. I didn't see any blue suits there. Maybe the next event would be to try to recruit the blue suit people.
Do you plan to organize event in 2025?
We don't have any concrete plans at the moment. The first priority is to get the new website now built on Webflow up and running and gradually introduce new genres, new type of content. The second one is to get our newsletters up and running and also launch podcasts. We have 2 podcasts coming up on different topics. Not studio podcasts. We are doing remote podcasts because we want to interview people that are from other countries and are from other spheres. But we also, but we have done some virtual events. We had, for instance, in last year, we had a large, also under the Unleashed brand, we had a cooperation with Ernst & Young and K33, where we called it the Crypto Adoption Week in the Nordics, and we had 4 different live events, each for each Nordic country, where we presented the adoption numbers from each country, and we had the discussion with the panel. And also this year we have had, or some months ago, we had a State of Crypto event together with K33. So that will continue, and it's easier to launch, but you can still have a lot of audience and engagement around it. But of course, a physical in-person event, we have to have more resources to be able to hit it this year at least.
So crypto community here in Norway is actually very small.
Yes, and there's not one community, if you understand it. I'm used to take a cup of coffee when I'm connecting with new people on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever. And I hear that they are living in Hønefoss or they're living in wherever, and I don't know anybody else that are interested in the building of the blockchain or the Web3 sphere. So there's a lot of people that don't have any belonging, if you understand. And regarding on the community side, there are also different communities. For instance, the Bitcoin community, they have now launched their own organization, which is sort of a lobby organization. And they have 100 attendees on the event where they discussed and launched the organization about 1 week ago. While, for instance, the developers can go into another type of community and and maybe even the finance people or the art people can go on separate events. What is interesting is that I think we are right now more or less in an inflection point regarding the industry. We have survived the crypto winter. Bitcoin is more or less moving ahead all the way, and it's sort of being a conservative investment, not a risk investment these days. We have the institutional investors, especially in the States, going into the market through the ETFs 1 year ago and moving ahead towards tokenization of real-world assets. We also have a lot of more user-friendly apps and ways to go on board. I may be 3 years ago, you didn't have any mobile apps related to crypto. Today, everybody has to be mobile first, and you have easy onboarding, easy on-ramping and off-ramping. You can use your Google identity, you can use your email identity, and it also getting easier to move funds from different chains in between different chains.
And there is also the Solana guy that he was the founder. They also talking about the phone that's gonna be new just for them making contracts. Did you hear? Did you hear about something about it? That you did not only one smartphone, you're gonna have another smartphone just to work with cryptos and to sign the crypto contracts. And iPhone, for example, they are not interested to make this because everything is finance, and they want to make an own telephone that's also own smart telephone that's going to be working on the Solana.
I think this is a parenthesis in the topic that I was trying to talk about, because the phone is already in the market. It's an Android phone based on the Android operating system, and of course it can make sense if you are living inside of the Solana community, if you understand. But again, the genius of the iPhone was not that it was the best phone. It was that it was the best mobile computer, the first mobile computer that you can really take with you. That you could the first mobile. The genius about Apple was not that it was a better phone than the other ones. It was really it was a PC that you could put in your pocket. And that can also, of course, be the case with some crypto phones. But I more believe that the tokens and the apps and all things, they will also live within the different kinds of interfaces that we are already using. There are, for instance, on-chain podcasts now. There are on-chain newsletters. There are on-chain TikTok competitors. So far, they haven't ticked the really good user experience. So, but when there comes one app, there will come two. There will come three. So related to what I said earlier about the user experience, the next thing that will happening is consumer apps. Now we have these meme coins, and people are willing to put $120 billion within a coin that has no value. But think about it when it starts to have a value. For instance, in social media, in film, in gaming, that will also be huge. And then you have this integration with AI. Right now through agents, but you can also foresee that you will have other types of integrations. Maybe, for instance, the blockchain will be the one that can verify what is truth and what is not truth in the AI sphere. That is a second way to use AI in the blockchain. And of course, if you look a little more ahead, in the question that we started with, the metaverse, maybe then also metaverse would be the place where we take with us our wallets, our currencies, and also play with AI agents or have a musical experience or whatever. But not necessarily as the only place that we will live, but as an extended experience. So I think we are really in an exciting times where this will be the next level of the internet.
Thank you, Morten, to coming to us and having you here in our interview.
Thank you very much for a nice conversation.